Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Welcome to the wonderful world of normal. It's the 6th of January, Christmas over, New Year's over, kids back at school today, people that had extended breaks from work back at work today. Are you depressed enough yet? The world has returned to some sort of normality. Thankfully, because last night was the second episode of the brand new series of Doctor Who, the second part of the Spyfall saga. I referred to it, I think, in the last video yesterday as Skyfall at one point, because obviously that's what it is. It's whatever. Now, the video yesterday was about the fact that the ratings for Wednesday's New Year's show were very poor, clocking in at 4.88 million. Now, that was people who watched it live, plus people that recorded it, DVR'd it, whatever, and watched it back later that night. The consolidated numbers aren't in. The consolidated numbers are people that recorded it and watched it within a week of the episode airing. So the consolidated numbers won't come in until post-Wednesday. So it wasn't very good at all. It dropped at least 500,000 viewers from what we've seen. We'll get more of an idea again when consolidated numbers come through. But what was, when I say interesting, I'm a very opinionated person. And the feedback that I got about the episode from people who follow my channel was, do you know what, Az? It was actually not that bad. It was actually not that bad as an episode of Doctor Who. So I said to myself, maybe I'll go watch it. I haven't yet, maybe I'll go watch it. Then last night was the second part, and oopsie doopsies. It's dropped another near 300,000 viewers. Now, that in itself, again, is rather interesting, because if the feedback for the first part was actually relatively positive, and I've got to say, apart from just the odd one or two people saying, it was, it's all right. It felt more like a Doctor Who thing. They played less into the identity politic aspect, although there was a moment, apparently, that they just couldn't help themselves. But the second episode loses a big chunk of people again. So that's people that watched it, plus recorded it and watched it back later that night. Which is intriguing because Sunday is a good night for TV. It's a good spot to get for people because kids are off school, adults are off work, and they're wanting to relax in front of the box before the day dawns. So I've decided that I'm going to kind of break this video up. I'm now going to go off and watch the first part of Spyfall. I'm going to come back, I'm going to give you my opinions on the first episode, kind of grade it, then I'm going to go back off again, watch the second part of Skyfall, then give my opinions on that as to see how I feel these two episodes have fit. Now, of course, if you're relatively new to the channel, and if you didn't see the video yesterday, my experience with this Doctor is I've only watched the first 2 episodes of her run out of the 10 episodes that she did, and I didn't watch the Dalek Christmas special, New Year's special, whatever, because the first 2 episodes just bored me rigid. Absolutely bored me rigid. So it's going to be interesting to see how I view this, a more established Jodie Whittaker Doctor, compared to her first 2 episodes. So I shall see you in approximately an hour for me, but for you, blink of an eye. Or a transition in the editing. So, I've just finished watching the first part of Spyfall. Initial reactions, it's alright. Okay, there's stuff there which I actually did enjoy, and there's stuff there which I didn't enjoy, and some of it didn't make a lot of sense. So the good stuff first. Always good seeing Lenny Henry. Love Lenny Henry. Big part of my childhood growing up from the Delbert Wilkins show. I know, showing my age. Delbert Wilkins show and all that kind of stuff onwards. And I haven't seen really anything of him for a long time now. So it's good to see Lenny Henry on screen. Apart from when he does the adverts for premiere in. Anyway, British thing. So I did enjoy a little bit of Lenny Henry. I really enjoyed O. I thought he was excellent. I liked him as O, and spoiler alert, I liked the master reveal of him. I had heard some criticism of him being a little bit too manic when he turns into the master. I actually didn't think so. It kind of felt like somebody who was excited to have all his plans realised. And, you know, he'd been calculating and building up to this one point, and it all had worked as intended. So there was an exuberance about it. So I liked the actor playing him, and I thought that reveal was very good indeed. Here are the issues, and they're quite big actually. The companions, I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them. I spoke yesterday about some people were big upping Bradley Walsh and stuff, but I didn't gravitate towards any of them. Yaz is absolutely god awful. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but as an actress, she looked terrible, and as a character, terrible. I can't remember what the guy's called either, but no, just don't do anything for me. And Bradley Walsh, he just seemed like an exposition dump, and then when if he wasn't doing exposition dump, it was literally just. Even the master says at some point, he's just the guy that just comments on things. That's all he did, was just like comment. He didn't seem to bring anything to the show. And so I felt a complete disconnection with any of the companions. And then there's the big one. Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. I see the character, but I don't see the Doctor. One bit. Maybe 54 years of being a man, and then gender swapping doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work. Do you know? Sometimes things just don't work. And it just didn't work for me. I just never saw the Doctor at any time. Yes, she had her moment. Oh, the Doctor's a man. I got an upgrade. Yawn. And then there was another part where a security guard, quite rightly, said, look, you've been brought in to sort this mystery. We've got to protect you. Get back inside. Try and sort this out and let us security do our job. Even though they were completely underequipped. And the look, how dare you talk down to me? It was, yeah. And so, yeah, it was very difficult because I liked the spy. When I say the spy elements, it's not really a spy thing at all. I liked the elements of an alien race infiltrating the universe, probably, maybe. There's obviously a mystery in part 2. I haven't seen part 2, so I've got no idea. A mystery to be unravelled here. And I like the way that there was a puppet master, pun intended, with the master. I did enjoy that. And I think the alien species is going to be revealed potentially as one that we already know. I kind of got money on Cybermen, but I could be wrong. Sort of got my money on Cybermen. Could be completely wrong. But yeah, it's a bit frustrating when you kind of like elements of the plot. You like some ancillary characters, but you don't like the cast, the main brunt of the show, the cast. And I just found Jodie Whittaker's Doctor difficult to stomach, and the companions are just whatever. So that was the episode that pulled in 4.88 million, and now it's time to watch part 2. The part which pulled in 4.6 million. So again, this will be a quick transition for you, but an hour-long struggle, maybe? We'll see, for me. Hopefully not. Oh! Oh boy, an immediate transition for you. For me, it was, oh god, that was an excruciating second hour. That was honestly excruciating. It felt like a lifetime. Oh, right. The second episode is pretty dreadful. Yeah. It's pretty awful. The kind of interesting things about the spy theme of the first episode, all gone. All gone after the reveal at the end of the last episode, and this one was just awful. I'll tell you what it was, right? It was tacky. It was really tacky. Chris Chibnall was showing that he's got no class, and he's got no subtlety, and we got into another situation of, hey, let's put Whammons up on a pedestal, and fascists are bad. That was pretty much the episode. So the Doctor goes. She finds herself in some weird ass hub. She discovers the first Whammon who started to come up with a theory of computers, and then she went to another part in time where she discovered the first Whammon Asian spy for the British. And they actually said it. They actually said it out loud. So it wasn't like they just went there and you got the names and you were like, oh, that's such and such and that's such and such. No, there was just like, oh, hi, you're the first Asian woman spy. It dropped behind enemy lines in the Second World War. That was the subtlety. It was just, it's tacky. So tacky. And oh, God in heaven. And also the companions were pretty unbearable. In this episode. First of all, I think Yaz is actually... I think she actually is, because they were on the run from the Valens, and they rewrote all the, computer data to say, look, these people are on the run. Just the way the Master did at the end of season 3. Look, a lot of this stuff in this episode have been done before and 10 times better. And so they go on the run. They say, look, destroy all our devices so they can't track us. So they destroy all the electronics. And then Yaz just gets on a phone and goes, here, I just want to call up to say we're all right and everything, and if anyone knocks at your door, don't go with them. Like they'd have a fucking choice, you dumb person. Oh, by the way, we're clearly being tracked. I mean, this isn't actually... And then I found Bradley Walsh horrendous as well in this one. They've got gadgets from the first episode, and he's got laser shoes. It's cringe. It was like the stuff with the companions was just cringe. And there was one moment in it which I thought, oh, this could be actually interesting. Where the Doctor and the Master are both in 1943, Paris in the Second World War. And they meet at the top of Le Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower. And I thought, great, at last, we're going to have certain things addressed. Like... Missy! We're going to have certain things addressed like Missy. How the Missy Master was actually good, and even though she left the Doctor towards the end of the Capaldi run, in that same episode still, she did the right... Well, I say she did the right thing. She had to stand... She said, I have to stand with the Doctor, and she killed the John Sims Master. The John Sims Master seemingly killed her. So Missy actually still went out good, showing intrinsic good still left in the Master. Didn't even mention anything. Didn't even mention a thing. Never even mentioned how did you survive, all this kind of stuff. Just the conversation that when the Master and the Doctor have conversations as if they were still friends. They know they're not, but there's still parts of it they hold on to. I think one of the most wonderful moments in Doctor Who, New Who, is when Capaldi's doctor and Missy, Nerdlong, whatever, Matt Smith. Matt Smith? No, Matt Smith, whatever. He gave her control of the TARDIS to save them in an episode, and then the Doctor came into the TARDIS and Missy was behind the console, and he was just like, you know, this doesn't mean we're friends. And she's like, oh, I know. And then he's just like, but that's the problem with hope. It's just too difficult to resist. And he was just like, oh, you know? And it's all gone. It's all just gone because Chris Chibnall wanted to go, whamming, what's the phrase that I like to use? Never mind, I won't go in there. And all that subtlety just lost. All that great nuance just lost. And it was a point where they could have this conversation as well, because he spoke about Gallifrey and all this kind of stuff. And so I felt very disappointed by that. And then the way things just tied together. I don't even know why Lenny Henry was doing what he was doing by the end of the show. Admittedly, I was zoning out because I was very, very bored with it. Like I said, it was just excruciating to watch. So, I mean, this is going to come as no shock, folks, but watching this two-parter, does this make me want to watch episode 3 next week? Oh, no. I find the companions are insufferable, and Jodie Whittaker just doesn't feel like the Doctor. She really doesn't. Positives that I would take out: the Master's got potential. I really do. I think the actor was pretty decent, and I think the Master's got potential. God, it was just so lectury. Again, it was just so, aren't we great? Pat ourselves on the back. Oh my God, I've broken both of my arms. Chibnall's got no class. He's got no subtlety. His writing was pretty horrendous in the episode. He can't write believable characters. The companions are god-awful. Jodie Whittaker's just insufferable as well. I can see why it's in trouble. And like I said, the experiment I don't think is working. And that's fine, because sometimes shit just doesn't, you know? So yeah, I think it was pretty easy to see why it's not gravitating towards people. It's a struggle to watch. I'm not going to watch anymore. I've got Batwoman to deal with, and that's in itself is God, you have no idea. But there we go. It's losing even more quickly after episode 2. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.